I wanted to be at Texas State. I chose to be at Texas State. I'm from Texas. That was important to me. I always knew if the right guy got this job, you better watch out.
You better watch out. This is Win Now or Get Bent, episode 111. If you don't already know, I'm Kev Tardello, coming to you on Tuesday, July 18th. And we've been approved for Sunbelt Media Day. Win Now or Get Bent will be in New Orleans next week officially. Finally got our email from the Sunbelt. Me and the wizard, Zachary Webb, will be there. Lots of great content. We've already been doing lots of planning. We've been planning for a while. I've mentioned the new camera we've got, and we've yet to do anything with it, but we are going to for New Orleans, and I am very, very excited. We'll get to more of that here in a sec. Before we get there, this episode is sponsored by Austin Patchmaster. Austin.patchmaster.com. Any drywall repair you need, cracks in your ceilings, cracks in your walls, popcorn ceiling removal, any general just drywall care you need. You punched a hole in your wall after a tough Texas State loss. Call my guys at Austin Patchmaster at 512-200-3888. It's 512-200-3888. My guy Michael Clements over there, true Texas State sicko, a Texas State grad himself. Thank him for sponsoring us throughout the summer. Again, hit them up at austin.patchmaster.com, 512-200-3888. 512-200-3888. And we are also sponsored by the Galindo Collective, TGC LLC. Business consultants, a team of professional consultants dedicated to helping others realize their business potential through people, planning, and practice. Their services cover a wide range of areas such as business strategy, marketing, human resources, and financial planning. They offer full-service solutions on general business evaluations, but specialize in residential and rental properties, commercial operations, and construction. If you own property and want to maximize its profitability, contact TGC at thegalindocollective.com. That's Galindo, Galindo, thegalindocollective.com. Follow their social media platforms on Twitter at TGC_LLC and on Instagram and Facebook and Threads and all those good ones. Find our guys at TGC. Thank you to Rick Galindo, a true Texas State sicko and a Texas State grad himself, for sponsoring us all the way through the season and making that Sunbelt Media trip next week possible. So check them out, TGC LLC. All right, let's get to some Bobcats. You know, I guess before I did the ad read, I didn't even say this episode we're going to have Janell Fitzgerald, former Texas State volleyball star. A lot of you know her name, a terrific career at Texas State. It was all Sunbelt team 4 times, won some Sunbelt championships. Now she's working on a new venture with Victory Star NIL, so I talked to her a little bit about that. Before we get there, I'll make this one brief so we can get to Janell. A few things to talk about in the Texas State world. Right off the bat for football, Lincoln Perry. Some of you may have seen that on Twitter. Lincoln Perry, Texas State's leading rusher last season. Looks like he's going to be out for the entire season. Posted on Instagram, looked like a post-op picture leaving the hospital, had surgery on that leg. I was able to confirm that it is a torn ACL. So that's a big blow for the Bobcats. Leading rusher, not in the mix. They do have a lot of running backs. Calvin Hill, we all know Calvin Hill. I think I've brought it up before. I wasn't sure if Calvin Hill's coming back. He is. Calvin Hill will be back. And him coming back now with this news with Lincoln Perry, I could see him being the starter. But that being said, Calvin Hill didn't play in the spring, but Jamel Jeter did. Oklahoma State transfer from a couple years back. Looked really good in the spring. I think this offense is going to fit well with him in the style that they run. Besides them, we also Demarius Good. He was on the team last year, had some pretty solid runs. 2 new guys in Denario Davenport and Ishmael Mahdi. Ishmael Mahdi coming over from Houston Christian, and Davenport coming over from Kilgore. They got to unleash a little bit in the spring, and they were looking good, made some big plays. Mahdi specifically, I mean, he didn't score a touchdown in that spring game, but he had a few runs where it was like, oh man, this is a special guy. And, if you remember 2 episodes, I had Jude McLaren on. Shout out to SSPN, a Spurs podcast. Go check them out. Good stuff there. But Jude McLaren, Texas State grad, he was talking to me about Ishmael Mahdi and how when Texas State played Houston Christian last season, This is when Jude was still on the Texas State beat for the Daily Record. One of our mutual friends who actually also went to Texas State, he was talking about Houston Christian, and the one player that the Bobcats should really keep an eye on was Ishmael Mahdi. And that was before they even played Texas State. Mahdi ended up not even playing that game, but ended up being a Bobcat later. So a little bit of serendipitous with Ishmael Mahdi. Excited to see what he has in store. But besides Lincoln Perry, there's another running back that's going to be out. That's Josh Berry. I spoke about him in the spring a little bit because he wasn't participating. They were really hoping to get him back by fall camp, but it looks like he won't be ready and will take a medical red shirt. If you remember, we've talked about running backs before, where G.J. Kinney was saying 5 to 7 running backs is what he likes to use throughout a game. It's something he took from Gus Malzahn, his time under his tutelage with Gus Malzahn. It's the same system he likes to do. Right now, being down 2, that puts them at 5 running backs, names at least that we know. There's, of course, Trent Lacey. I think he was a walk-on big guy, looks like a goal line type running back, so we may see him get in the mix, but not quite at that 5 to 7 that they want. Who knows? Maybe they have some walk-ons or some other guys that are just slipping my memory right now, but they at least have that 5. But going down 2 before fall camp even starts isn't great at a position that definitely gets injured a lot, that takes a lot of blows. You want as many bodies there as you possibly can get. And being down 2 of those guys is not great. But, we'll see how they do. We'll see what happens. It's good that they have a deep room. I mean, I can remember when I was looking at it, I was like, gosh, look, maybe they're going to have to get rid of somebody with all these running backs not too long ago. And now it's like, oh, okay, maybe they, maybe these guys who dedicated their life to football know what they're doing sometimes, like with these coaches. And it seems like they did with that situation. No other real big news besides that one. I felt that one was pretty big. That's a big blow for the Bobcats right before Sunbelt Media Day. But I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Sunbelt Media Day, we will be there. We just got notification of who else is going to be there as far as representing Texas State. It's going to be Nash Jones, offensive lineman, Torrey Spears, safety, and of course, head coach G.J. Kinney. We're going to get to talk to all of them. You get to talk to them in the press conference setting. You'll be able to watch it on, I'm pretty sure ESPN Plus is where they'll be having that one. And then we'll have some one-on-ones as well with those guys. Other content as well, what we're doing in New Orleans, because we're going to get there Sunday, and we're not talking to anybody until Tuesday. We'll try and get somebody to talk to us on Monday or something. We'll walk around and figure out some content, find some good stuff for you. So good video coming next week. That'll be July 25th is when Texas State will be on the dais. 1:30, I believe, for G.J. Kinney's press conference that day. More so in the middle than at the beginning. They start at 10 a.m. I am very excited. It's our first Win Now or Get Bent road trip. Me and Webb on the road, getting to know each other a little bit. Of course, I'll be driving. I have to drive. I'm in charge like that. But I'm excited to get down there and bring you some content on the road. I've yet to do that with the pod, so it'll be cool. And Webb, he went to McNeese State for a little bit, his undergrad, and so he knows some people there. Lake Charles, apparently I'm going to go eat some good food. He'll be my tour guide in Louisiana. So look out for that content. We'll have another episode out before all that. This is the Tuesday show. We'll have another Friday show this week, and then it'll be Sunbelt content. May not stick to the Tuesday, Friday schedule for next week. I'm not exactly sure what it'll look like. I'd like to do when we're going to get there on Sunday. Maybe record something Sunday and give it to you Monday. We'll figure that out. I'll definitely hit you up on Twitter and all the platforms and let you know what's happening with us. Speaking of what's happening with us, I brought up on the last one our Patreon account, patreon.com/windnoworgetbent. We started the Patreon. I was talking about all these extra benefits we can do for y'all. Right now, it's 4 of y'all in there, $5 a month. That equals $20. Guess what? I'm paying for unlimited Zoom. So that cutoff with GJ Kinney won't happen again. So thank you to Sickos for supporting us through the Patreon, supporting us at windnoworgetbent.com, WNOGB.com, buying some merch. We're about to unleash some cool stuff for you. Hats, maybe. Hats are so difficult, but we've been working on them, and we're finally ready to just about announce what we're going to do. I won't say we're ready to announce, but we're going to have some hats before fall camp, no doubt about that. But on that Patreon, I was in there looking around, and I can do all these cool things where I can type up articles. I can do a lot of things. Like before, I was like, well, we'll give you a link to a Discord, and we still will. That Discord is still there, and we'll get in there and get active. But even on that Patreon, there's a lot I can do. Like sometimes the Statesman doesn't want to pay me for a specific article, so I don't really have an area to type up something that I want to. I will there. In fact, who knows? Maybe I'll make it into a daily blog. I mean, shoot, if y'all are paying to be in there, I'm going to give you some content. So shout out to those 4 sickos that are in there right now. Really appreciate y'all. Hope some more of y'all come and join us in there. It'll be a good time, and we'll figure out all the cool stuff we can do. I'll tell you this, those hats that I tease, our Patreon subscribers are going to know a little bit before y'all, just a warning. So if you want to get a heads up on what's all going down with that, and I'll give you one hint. Here's the logo. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, subscribe, win now or get bit. But here's our logo. You all know that logo. It's not quite this one on the hat. The Mad Cat is there. That's all I'll do. I'm just going to tease it. It's not this exact logo. I didn't want to keep just throwing that one at you. We'll give you some other cool stuff. And we're going to have non-logo merch too eventually. We've been, like I said, working with a graphic designer and all that stuff. So we'll be unleashing lots of great merch coming up. But like the last one, I'm going to leave the intro pretty brief. I won't sit here talking all day. I want to get to Janell Fitzgerald. I think it's really important what she's doing. I touched on VictoryStarNIL.com on the last episode 110. If you didn't see it, GJ Kinney, it was a big one. Lots of people liked it. GJ really enjoyed coming on. He wants to come back soon. I bet he would have been on this one, really, if I had asked him. It seemed like he really enjoyed hopping on the pod and the responses that he was getting from all of that. But with Janell for VictoryStarNIL.com, it's the official partner for Texas State as far as NIL and everything that they can do with these athletes. There's been some other ones like Open Doors, where Texas State initially pushed Open Doors, but now since that time when they were talking about that one, they've been able to use like a third party system to take care of these deals and all these partnerships with players, and now they handle it themselves. They don't have to use like Open Doors or anything like that. So if you're looking for the area to support Texas State that is affiliated with Texas State, that's VictoryStarNIL.com. Lots they can do. They can come to your events. They can promote your business. Whatever you need them to do, they'll be there to check it out. She even talks about a golf tournament on September 1st to raise some funds for Victory Star NIL. I know the Wizard, our producer here, he's a big golfer, so we may have to go out there. I'm not very good at golf. I've said before, disc golf is my go-to. But, hey, if I got to get out there and whiff, do what we got to do for the people, I'm ready. So maybe I'll bug Janell about getting us in there, drumming up as much support for these student athletes as we can. I know I've talked a lot about VictoryStarNIL.com, but it is not a paid endorsement at all. It's something that I could tell was important for the school, and they do a lot as far as access and everything for us. It's the least I can do to help them. I bug all these athletes all the time trying to get them to come on my pod, asking them all these annoying questions. So any way that I can help drum up some support for them, I will. And who knows, maybe once we get our money up, get some more of y'all in that Patreon, get y'all buying some more of that merch, then we'll be able to pay some of these athletes to do some cool things. Who knows what we can do? Get them to become an official win now or get bent athlete. I have a few in mind. Already for whenever we can actually do that. And I will go through VictoryStarNIL.com. And of course, Janell, volleyball star as well here at Texas State. Lots of great stuff. Talked a lot about Karen Chisholm. I really enjoyed that. I want to bring Janell on because a little bit of self-criticism. I do not talk about the other sports enough. I tend to hone in on football when there's a lot of other athletes doing a lot of great things here at this university that we will start to talk about more. A lot of it has been just like resources for myself, time and money constraints and all of that. But really with the focus on this pod and me trying to almost turn it into a main focus. Obviously I have my iron and a few fires right now, but this is honestly my favorite one. And it's one I want to curate the most. And if I want to do it right, I want to cover all the other sports. And volleyball's in there. I mean, shoot, it's like the best sport at Texas State. So we will be more inclusive with all that coverage, no doubt about it. And we'll start now with Janell Fitzgerald, former volleyball star, VictoryStarNIL.com. She is I don't even think I said her title. I know I wrote it down somewhere. She is the director of development and sales. I thought I wrote it down. I'm over here looking for it, but manager of sales. That's what it is. Manager of sales and partnerships. So shout out to Janell Fitzgerald for taking that one on and leading these Bobcats helping Bobcats. You got to love that. But all right, let's get to Janell Fitzgerald. Thank you to all you sickos. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do. Leave some comments, sign your friends up, do all that stuff. You've been doing it. Good stuff. Summertime, it should be more of a lull, but we've been getting some decent enough numbers. Not as good as when the season's here, but I know we've been pretty satisfied with y'all's turnout. So thank you so much, sickos. Not possible without you. I say it every pod, but it is very, very true. Otherwise, I'd just be talking into the void. Maybe I am. Who knows? All right, let's get to Janell Fitzgerald. Win now or get bent. All right, I have a very special guest. It is Janell Fitzgerald, the great volleyball player from Texas State, now doing a new venture with the Bobcats. Janell, how's it going? How are you today?
I'm great. I'm excited to talk to you and finally get this show on the road, right?
Heck yeah, heck yeah. We were just talking before we pushed record about your illustrious career at Texas State. We'll jump into that before we get into anything else. I got to talk about your career. Obviously, you won some Sun Belt Conference championships, 4-time All Sun Belt selection, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year in the Sun Belt. You made the Dean's List. Is there anything I'm forgetting? I mean, what a career. Tell us about that and what it was like being a Bobcat in your time here.
Well, first of all, I was very blessed to have the opportunity to become a Bobcat in the first place. Being a student athlete, it's crazy, right? You just go from time to time. You're always traveling. You're always having school to worry about. You have your own lives to be worried about. But at the end of the day, you all have a goal and you have a family at the end of it. And that's what I'm excited to be even more a part of as I'm working on this side of things, not only being a student athlete anymore, but to finally become on the business side of everything. My career. It's really hard for me to talk about myself, but I'm more than happy to be able to share my success and really, I guess you could say, exemplify how amazing it is to be a Bobcat. And okay, so started off my freshman year, was able to be lucky enough to play under Karen Chisholm and Tracy Smith and our now head coach, Sean Hewitt, and started off strong, had a great class coming in. It was a strong class of 8, and we came in and we really had some goals we wanted to set. Ended up breaking a lot of records coming in as a team, being able to make it to the NCAA tournament and winning a game in the NCAA tournament. That's something that Texas State had never done before. Was very blessed to be able to do that. Was blessed to be able to win a championship there. Being able to go to the championship all 5 years is crazy. And then being able to finally make a name for myself in the offensive world of Sunbelt volleyball. And then, going into, that's what it was the entire year, always trying to be the best among the best of all of Sunbelt. And I was finally able to break a record that 5th year, being able to become the all-time record leader for career kills. And that was amazing. That's definitely one of my highest successes, being a student athlete, being able to play alongside of Emily DeWalt, my great setter. And so being able to do all of those things and to continue to play and learn from different coaches and different staffs was great as well. Transitioning after that sophomore year and having an entire different staff to play under. So that was our now head coach, Sean Hewitt, who was my assistant coach coming in. And then he brought on two amazing people, Tori Plugi and Keith Anderson. And they were amazing and great additions to the staff. I had already been recruited by Keith Anderson in my, what is that called? In my recruiting process and at University of Delaware. And then had the amazing opportunity to finally get to play under him, under a Bobcat jersey. And then, of course, after that fourth year, I was able to have the opportunity to transfer and do my fifth year somewhere else because of COVID and all of that crazy stuff. But then was able to finally play for them, go strong after COVID, played during COVID. I'm actually the number one it's the record in match sets played in all of NCAA, which I'm like, okay, well, are they calling me old? Because this means that I have now played more
No,
sets. I know it means I've played more sets than any college athlete in the sport of volleyball in NCAA.
it means you're
So
durable. It means you're
I
durable,
know,
not old.
yes,
No way.
it means I can last and I'm sustainable. So yeah, so I'm very, very, very lucky to be able to have played for some very great people and alongside of some really great people.
Yeah, it's interesting how COVID elongated a lot of people's careers, and for you, you're able to set records because of it. It's an interesting ripple effect of the whole situation. I mean, we see it now in sports. Guys are going into their seventh years in football, and
It's
it's pretty
crazy.
pretty wild. Yeah, with football, with the injuries, they're able to use like medical red shirts and then a real red
Yeah,
shirt in the COVID year, so they get seven. It's kind of
yeah.
wild.
It's I believe that's with baseball too, am I
Wow.
correct?
Yeah.
Them and there is a player, her name's Asia O'Neil. She plays for Texas volleyball. She did the exact same thing. So she's going into one of those long years. I don't even know. I haven't kept track anymore, but she's up there too, being able to use that medical red shirt and then going into that red shirt and then COVID year too. So it's like, wow, y'all are
They
playing a really long time.
they are. I mean, shoot. I mean, a lot of these people are going to be doctors by the time they're done
I
expunging
know.
their eligibility.
I'm pretty sure she already has her master's or something.
Hey, good for them. Free
I
education,
know, great. Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. So being able to, that's what I'm saying, like for Bobcat Club, they were amazing and being able to even provide those scholarships and things of that nature. Now, come or not me, I'm going to transition into NIL, but
Go for it. Go for it. Victory
yes,
star. Hit them with it.
right. Or I just NIL in general. So coming in that 2020, I mean, I'm blessed to be a part of that process in the state of Texas anyway, but come was it July 2020? That's whenever that all started to get into play. So I actually become a part of the process. One of our compliance members, our compliance officer, Kelsey Solis, she texted me one day and asked me, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm saying, "Hey, what's up?" So she was asking, "Hey, I know you've been very adamant about what we could do or what you wanted to do NIL and you want to be able to be, I guess, to represent yourself and you want to do deals with different brands and all of the stuff. So I know that you've expressed your interest so much. How would you love to come to Austin, to the Capitol with me and talk to the House of Representatives and really showcase what it is like to be an athlete without NIL and how it would benefit you?" And I was like, "Absolutely, let's go." So went to the Capitol, talked to the House of Representatives, and really got them to pass that bill and help them to understand my experience because it's really hard to understand how amazing NIL has been and how much it has helped and assisted in everyday life because every athlete or every student, you go to college, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get to college, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to be able to go to classes and all of these things. But for a student athlete, our sport is our job, right? So that's all we have is our scholarship if we're able to. And some of these players aren't even able to be on scholarship, right? So that's where NIL is just so amazing because it's being able to finally push in areas and finally being able to use all of the hard work and on and off the court or field and finally being able to grow our own brand and use our own name, image, and likeliness to really blow up other companies, and really being able to use our media that we've already made a name for ourselves on, and being able to represent different companies, represent different organizations. And once I actually helped them to understand how important it was and how much money that we don't have in this sense of scholarships and everything like that, they finally understood, hey, these players are they actually are needing the money, not really just wanting the money. So it's really easy to be like, hey, they're already getting this, they're already getting that, they're a student athlete and all this stuff, all the hype that, some people like to give student athletes. But at the end of the day, student athletes are just working their butts off trying to get the money that they really deserve at the end of the day, trying to make a living for themselves. It's really it at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've been a staunch supporter of NIL ever since it's come around, just for that reason. I mean, a lot of these people, like yourself included, even though we're like, oh, you had a nice long 5th year, you got to be a super senior, that 5-year window still isn't very long. And it's the best time for a lot of athletes to capitalize on that moment and make some money out of something that they deserve to make money off of what they've done, how hard they work. I mean, I even said earlier, like, hey, it's free school, but even that's not true, because it's not free school. It's well earned. I mean, you guys are practicing, you're doing all sorts of type of flying around the country to play in these games and tournaments, and you deserve some kickback. And of course, the scholarship is nice, but it's good to see that it is turning a little bit, even if it was towards the end of your career. It's cool that you are still involved post your collegiate career, working with Victory Star NIL, which is the collective for Texas State. Talk to me a little bit about Victory Star. What's it about? I've checked out the website a little bit. I see there's a way you can book some of these Texas State athletes, but what's it about, and what's your involvement with them?
So my title is, like, to put a title on things. My title is the Sales and Development Manager at Texas, or at Victory Star for Texas State. And basically, I act as to put it in terms that everybody usually knows, is I'm the agent, basically, for all of Texas State athletes. And I really help become the middleman, or middlewoman, in between all of the athletes and all of the businesses or organizations or donors or whoever would want to give anything to these athletes. So I make sure that the process goes smoothly. I ensure the deals run smoothly. It goes anywhere from a simple social media post to in-person events. So say a birthday party, an autograph signing, a dinner, anything, right? So that's what NIL is. It's about exemplifying your name, image, and likeliness, and now going to push that and help other people with that. So I'm so excited that I'm a part of it. But Victory Star is able to provide, it's basically a one-stop shop. So a lot of the times there's different platforms and organizations and things like that are able to, yes, they're able to provide these deals and everything like that, but they're not really able to provide the support that me and the rest of my team at Victory Star are able to provide to the athletes and to the organization. So we have it's just different things. We make sure that athlete is eligible. We can maintain their eligibility, their compliance, and everything like that. We make sure that there's support on the side of the marketing, making sure that all of their posts are to criteria, making sure that everything is high quality. We definitely expand. We say high quality, high quality, high quality. That's what we want to make ourselves known for, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that this athlete is able to represent this company or organization in the best way possible. And that's what we're here for. There's fan engagement. We provide data analytics for the company and making sure that they understand what they are getting. There's going to be a software that will be coming eventually and it'll be able to show that athlete and show that business what all of the things that they've done, all of the engagement, all of the numbers and all of that great stuff. So it's really just a one-stop shop, and it's great because we're able to really be there for the athlete instead of just saying, here's the deal, we're going to push this through and that's it, I'm hands off. No, I walk them through every single aspect of it. I'm there at the events with them. I make sure that the donor or the business owner or whoever feels comfortable talking to this athlete, feels comfortable being a part of the process with that athlete, being able to get exactly what they need and when they need it.
It's great. And with the current athletes, that's a really cool part that you're a former Texas State athlete helping current Texas State athletes. Now, currently with them, it's obviously it's all brand new to everybody, even though you even said you were there from the beginning at the House of Representatives. But has there been any difficulty adjusting to the new landscape of this, or is it what have been, because a lot of it is unknown. I know even with me, I'm like, well, what can I touch on? What can I ask about? Like when I'm talking to athletes about stuff that they're promoting and everything. I guess where I'm really getting around to is like, how can we help these athletes kind of promote themselves and get their brand a little more out there?
Well, how to help them is more so just making sure that, or trying to get them the most exposure as they possibly can, and making sure that, I mean, you're like the business world is the best way to do that, right? So they're working their butts off on the court or on the field, trying to make sure that they're doing exactly what they need to do. And now, whenever it comes off of the field or off of the court, and whenever it comes into their post athletic career, they're able to finally have those marketing skills, be able to talk to people, be able to communicate effectively through all of this. So are they only doing deals? No, they're making lifelong partners that they're able to talk to if they need questions and all of these things. Now, how can anybody help? Absolutely go to the website and victorystarnil.com and be able to just reach out. Any inquiry is very, 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 very appreciated, from the smallest amount to the grandest amount. There's plenty of things that can be happening. There's plenty of things and plenty of ways that athletes can represent you. If it is not only, it doesn't have to be a company, it can be anybody. It could be a person that you see walking on the street, right? Anybody who wants a Texas State athlete to represent them in any way, it's a perfect way for them to be able to do so by simply filling out the inquiry. And then it could be a whole team. It could be one person. It could be a couple of people. It could be your favorite players. It could be a whole position. It doesn't matter. It's all based on what you want. And that's where we come in and make sure that you are very well represented in every single way, whether that's me, whether that's my entire team, whether that's everyone, because everyone is involved in the process of making sure that they're compliant and making sure that they're representing your company and that person is getting the best bang for their buck.
Yeah, and giving them agency and almost guiding them through it, because it is kind of an unknown area. How much is that an important factor? I imagine you have so many kids coming up to you, and I shouldn't say kids, athletes coming up to you and saying, I don't even know where to begin. How do I sell myself? Has that been a big part of it? Is almost teaching them how to market themselves?
Absolutely. So my prior role was not even working with Victory Star, not just yet. So we hadn't had Victory Star yet. We hadn't had the Link U yet. It was just Texas State and our communications department. And then I was fortunate enough to become the graduate assistant in the communications department under the athletic department as a graduate assistant and NIL educator, I guess you would say. So I would talk to teams, I would talk to recruits, I would try my best to talk to the coaches, and making sure that every single person is educated about what NIL is and how it can help you, how you can brand yourself, what it's like, what do you need to look for on your social media, what types of companies can you not trust whenever you're only working with them by yourself? That's where I come in now in this role, because now I don't have to say, hey, how can I keep, not only is it how can you keep yourself safe, it's now I can keep you safe and I can keep you compliant and I can push these deals for you. But now you have to maintain your end and make sure that you are staying the best athlete you can possibly be on that side, and making sure you understand every aspect of the deal, making sure you understand this company, making sure that you understand what your social media is like, how it affects you. You represent this brand now, and this brand now represents you as well.
Yeah, and not only does it help the athletes, but it helps with recruiting as well. Because I can imagine that nowadays with NIL, it almost becomes a bidding war, especially with some of the higher end recruits. Is that something that you've seen happen where players are getting offers to even to go somewhere else? I mean, I know you don't have to talk about your specific story, but I even know before your 5th year, you're saying you could have transferred, but you didn't. You know,
Right.
maybe there's those offers out there. Is that a kind of the new future, if you will, or the
I
new
mean,
present?
it happens. It happens. It definitely happens. But is it right? No, it's not right. And is it something that can be promised? It's not something that can be promised. So a big thing that I do paint and do make sure that I educate if I am ever talking to a potential athlete or someone who's trying to figure out what they need to do in their space, or oh, I'm thinking about transferring, this is what should I be worried about, is making sure that they understand that yes, this person might say, hey, I can give you this much to come to this school, but I promise you it's not guaranteed. There's no contract that is binding them to that. It's not guaranteed. So it has to go back all the way back to whenever I was being recruited, of are you going to this school because you love this school and you love their passion and you love their goals and you know what that future of that school is holding, or are you going because you only want the money, right? So it has to go back down to the very basics, the very bare minimum of how is this program ran? How is this program? Does this program represent what I want to be representing? And all of those things. It's the same thing for business. So making sure that everybody is representing you in the best way. And in my opinion, it's not the best way if somebody is trying to bribe you to be there.
Yeah, I hear that. You know, it's about a culture, and you hear a lot about the transfer portal and everything. And I know GJ Kenny, the football coach here, when you ask him about that, how do you keep guys from transferring out? It's about a culture that you develop, that you try to make it so that people don't want to leave,
Uh-huh.
and then that they're staying for the right reasons.
100.
Um, yeah, you know, I'll leave you with this one last question for you. You know, it's more so just a request. Do you have I need a good Karen Chisholm story. You know, I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
everybody knows Karen Chisholm, 40 years, the coach here, still around. I just saw her at spring football practice not too long ago. So
She
give
was
me a good
at
Chisholm
she was
story.
at Texas State volleyball camps too.
Yep.
She's always on campus. That lady. I have a million and one stories about just I'm trying to think of the very best one. It would probably be I think this was my sophomore year. We went to the Grand Canyon, and everybody, or basically we went to Arizona to play Arizona State and everybody like that. Yes, we won. And basically she put up a toll or a vote and was like, hey, does anybody want to go to the Grand Canyon? She's very big on experiences, she's very big on networking, she's very big on relationships. So she's everybody this drive is probably, the drive to the Grand Canyon was probably around 2 or 3 hours in a bus. And we flew there, by the way. So we had a pretty a pretty empty morning, and we didn't take off to come back to San Marcos until that afternoon. So we ended up going, even though only like one person said they wanted to go. And so we made that drive, went to the Grand Canyon. And when we got there, there were a whole bunch of tourists. And instead of wanting to take pictures of the Grand Canyon, they took pictures of us and with them. And so it basically, because we're so tall and it was crazy, and Chisholm thought it was the funniest thing ever, and she loved every part of it. And basically, that's just who she is. That's exactly who she is. She wants to make sure that she's making you into the best person that you want to be, and that she wants you to be. And so that's basically it. Yeah. So we went to Grand Canyon, got taking pictures of us instead of taking pictures of the Grand Canyon. And she ate it up, never died down that story until the day she retired. And she still brings it up every single time. Remember that time we went to the Grand Canyon? And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Here we go.
See,
And then there's another one. I can tell another one. So
hit me with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone knows, but basically Chisholm did not play volleyball. She played tennis, I'm pretty sure. And so one time at practice, we had her try to serve a ball over the net, and it was the best moment ever because she's a very great coach. She's amazing. And so whenever she tried to serve it over, it was nowhere close. But it's the fact that she tried. And yeah, but she's able to tell us every single other thing to do, and she's able to tell us what to do. It's just whenever it got to the time for her to show us, no, not happening. So it was great. It was great. I was like, yeah, it's not like tennis all the way, almost, but not quite.
There's a net. They both have nets.
They both
that's
have
about
net,
it.
and it's kind of like the same like look, but and I mean, I guess you can touch the ball once. I think that's the only thing that's similar about volleyball and tennis. But other than that,
Well,
nope.
those who can't do teach, as they say. So I guess
I know.
that's pretty funny. The greatest coach at Texas State, in my opinion, in any sport, is didn't even play the sport. Couldn't even get it over the net. But that's okay.
Yeah. That's amazing. She's great. She's amazing. That woman, I see her all the time. You would think that, she's not my coach anymore. Nope. I see her all the time. Almost every other week, every month, somewhere around there. But yeah. We do have a golf tournament that is coming up.
Oh, tell me about it.
So we have a golf tournament at Kissing Tree hosted by Victory Star. And we will be opening registration soon on our website, but it will be September 1st. Tee off time will be at 9 a.m. It'll be a great time. It'll be plenty of people to meet, plenty of great gifts and prizes to be won. There will also be athletes that are there, being able to meet and greet and talk to them and really get to understand and know a little bit more about them while you're even playing. So great opportunity, great fun time for anybody who would like to come by and really be a part of that. That'd be amazing. So we will be opening registration pretty soon though. So be on the lookout for that. But mark your calendar. So September 1st, 9 a.m. tee off time.
Are you a golfer? Are you going to be out there swinging?
So I tried to swing the ball at the last golf tournament I was at. And I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't bad at all. But let's just say I'm great at volleyball.
I'm not the greatest golfer ever. I'll tell you my biggest thing I'll do wrong is I'll whiff sometimes because I'll look up. You're like, you get anxious and you want to see where you shot and
you forget to look, but that's the same with volleyball.
It happens.
It happens. You forget. You're trying to look where you want to go, and then you forget where you're standing. That's a metaphor, guys. A metaphor. You forget to look where you're standing because you're looking forward to the future.
Find your feet. That's something I've always heard. Find your feet.
I say be where your feet are.
So
it's the same thing.
VictoryStarNIL.com. You can go sign up for that golf tournament coming up September 1st, 9 a.m. Go out there. That's a great way for people to support as well. I'm assuming that there's a cost to enter the tournament, and I'm sure that goes to NIL. So all y'all make sure and go check it out. But Janell, this was awesome. Thank you so much for jumping on. When volleyball season starts kicking off, maybe we'll have to get you come back on. You can talk to us about Sean Hewitt and the gang.
Absolutely, I will.
Awesome. Thanks, Janell.
Thank you.